Hi everybody, this is Helen with the EOS podcast. Every Buffalonian is familiar with Shea's, the beautiful theater located on Main Street, right in the heart of Buffalo Theater District. Shea's Buffalo Theater is credited with bringing Broadway shows, concerts, and theatrical performances to the city in a way that is easily accessible to the public. This small but influential part of Buffalo's history has been providing entertainment and fun for nearly 100 years. Michael Shea was born on April 17, 1859. He was raised in Buffalo, where he remained for the rest of his life. His original boyhood home was on Catherine Street in the First Ward. From humble beginnings, he worked on the nearby docks from the age of 15 as a laborer and as a structural ironworker on railroad bridges. In 1884, he opened up a saloon on 535 Elk Street, which provided enough financial stability to venture into other things. From there, he followed his dreams of opening and operating music halls. Entertainment for the general public was on the rise. In 1892, Shea opened up his first music hall inside the Arcade Building at 11 Clinton Street, simply called Shea's Music Hall. This was one of the very first music halls in the United States. There, performers were hired from England and France and came to work for week-long engagements at a time. His music hall was largely successful up until the building was destroyed the following year in 1893. Following its destruction, Shea began expanding into multiple theaters. Shea's Tivoli opened up on Washington Street next to the Hotel Lafayette. At the time, entertainment was becoming more accessible for the growing middle class. Taking advantage of this business opportunity, Shea opened up the first vaudeville theater in Buffalo in 1898, named Shea's Garden Theater. Vaudeville consisted of multiple acts of song and dance, comedy, and burlesque. Shea is credited with improving the reputation of vaudeville theaters. To further develop his theater, it underwent several renovations and banned smoking and alcohol to keep up its status. Following this success, he began opening more theaters throughout the city. Another vaudeville, Shea's Vaudeville House, opened on Court Street in 1905. Shea's Hippodrome on Main Street near Chippewa opened in 1914. The Hippodrome was his first moving pictures theater. Shea's North Park Theater was next, opening on Hurdle Avenue in 1920. Shea's empire continued expanding with the Great Lakes Theater, the Seneca, the Century, the Community, the Park, the Bailey, and the Riviera in Tonawanda, all between 1921 and 1930. In 1925, Shea began planning his most famous structure yet, the Buffalo. It was later officially changed to Shea's Buffalo Theater and is now just lovingly nicknamed Shea's by the locals. Shea hired the famous and well-established architects C.W. and George L. Rapp, two brothers from Chicago. The budget was originally $1 million, but by its completion, it was closer to $2 million. The Rapps used furnishing companies from both their hometown of Chicago and local Buffalo. This includes the Victor Perlman Company of Chicago for lighting, George H. Drake of Buffalo for plumbing and heating, the William Hendrer Company of Buffalo for interior decorations, and the Wurlitzer Company. The Wurlitzer is responsible for providing the theater's famous organ. Modeled after the Wurlitzer in Chicago's Uptown Theater, it is the largest of their organs, with pipes that are up to 32 feet in length. The Rapp's finished product was a beautiful, almost religious Baroque revival style. It is made of steel and concrete with a terracotta trim. There is a plate glass and iron window, detailed pediments with rosettes, leaf and dart and egg and dart molding, and a Greek theater comedy mask at the top. The interior was designed by Louis Comfort Tiffany, the renowned Art Nouveau designer and artist of Tiffany & Company. There are crystal chandeliers, marble staircases, domed ceilings, wall scones, and its famous hand-painted, carved, and molded 50-foot proscenium arch in the main theater. The theater originally had 4,000 seats and 7,000 lights on its main horizontal sign. Shea's Buffalo Theater opened on January 16, 1926. After the grand opening, there were many operational problems. Brass doors and ventilation system didn't work properly. The red dye used on the theater seats were transferring to clothing, and roofs blew off of the canopies, causing electrical damage. Despite all of this, it was wildly successful for its first 3 years until the Great Depression in 1929. Shea died on May 16, 1934, during the Depression, and shortly afterwards, his wife and daughter sold their shares of the theater. However, Shea's remained successful throughout the years, with performances by Frank Sinatra, the Marx Brothers, Duke Ellington, George Burns, Bob Hope, Ella Fitzgerald, and full seasons of Broadway shows. After changing hands multiple times, the nonprofit Friends of the Buffalo Theater worked to save the theater from demolition and began its initial restorations, allowing it to be placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Then, the Shea O'Connell Preservation Guild formed to manage the theater in 1980. From there, restoration began in the 1990s, including restoring the Pearl Street brick wall, rewiring the building, and restoring the marquee on the Main Street side. Restorations in the 2000s consisted of reconstruction and restoration of the Main Street facade, restoring the seats and draperies, and replacing the blade, which is the theater's vertical, distinguishable sign out front. Louis Comfort Tiffany's original drawings and watercolors were used to make sure the restorations looked the same as the original. Almost all of these restorations were done by the hands of volunteers, proving that Shea's truly was for the people, by the people.